Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about how much progress I have made in the last 2 years. So I had my twins' second heavenly birthday last month, and I just wanted you guys to know how my life has been in 2 years. I feel like I haven't made so much progress, or things haven't really changed for me in the last 2 years with regards to the loss of my boys. And that's because I still cry every other day and I still miss them so much. And I really wish that they were here. One thing I'll say that has made it better for me is the fact that I have a, another baby now, which every single time that I feel down or I feel low about the twins, he just gives me so much joy. He just uplifts my spirits and makes me feel better. Just looking at my kid alone is just um joyful for me. And on the other hand, I feel bad or I feel terrible sometimes when I do things for him. I feel like I'm not able to do those things for his brothers. So sometimes when I do normal stuff that you do for your kid, like maybe shop for him, like really regular things, I feel like I wish I could do this for your brothers, or I wish I did this for your brothers, if you get what I mean. It just makes me feel like I'm not able to do this for them. It makes me feel like what kind of mother am I that I can't even do this for my children? I don't have them here with me, if that makes sense. And the other thing is the fact that I don't think that anyone can actually get over the loss of their children. Um, it's not something that you would necessarily get over or move on from. It's just something that I think that you live with and just really continue to live with. You can't get over the loss of your children because you'd always miss them. You'd always wish they were with you. You would always want them. And there is the fact that you actually got pregnant. You went through the whole pregnancy thing and you gave birth to children that you cannot see, you cannot be with, you cannot spend time with, you can't touch them. So that is also there. It's like every time I think about my pregnancy journey with the twins, it's really hurtful because that pregnancy was really something. And when I have those memories on, um it just hurts me that I don't have them with me. I can't hold them. And sometimes I think about the fact that people made decisions for me. um I would say didn't allow me to spend time with my children, or didn't allow me to even see them even after they passed. So it really hurts a lot. There's quite a number of things that are really hurtful when I think about my boys. I feel like everything is still very fresh, even though it's been 2 years. Maybe in the next 5 years, I'll feel better, or next year, I'll say it feels better. But at the minute, it feels like everything is still very fresh. It's actually very difficult to cope with the fact that you've got children that you can't see. It's really difficult to cope with that. There are some days that I just cry on and on and on and on and on, um, thinking about them. And their second birthday, I think the month of June was like a very terrible time for me. I literally cried most of the time. It was really tough. I couldn't do so many things. I couldn't do a lot of things. I was just really down because celebrating their birthday without them was really hurtful for me. Even though I wanted to celebrate them, even though I wanted to do that for them, I was also hurting about the fact that I was doing that without them in the picture or without being with them physically. So June was a really terrible time. It was a tough time for me and my family. I basically cried myself to sleep most of the time and fell ill because I was just emotionally down. So I think my body also gave way. But in everything, God saw me through. And something else that I would say I always do is to make sure that my boys are always in the picture, that they are always remembered. As much as I can, as often as I can, I tell their brother about them. And of course, when he's a bit grown to the age to understand these things, he would also know that he has brothers that are older than he is. And every other child that comes after him would definitely know that they've got older brothers. So I've got their pictures in my house, and I make it known to everyone that they're part of my life. They would always be part of my life. And I'm not apologetic about it. They are my children. I'll say the other tough thing is when someone asks you how many kids have you got, and you don't even know what to say sometimes. It's like, okay, one, three. I want to say three, but at the same time, I don't want to explain the fact that two children are not here. And I don't want to say one because I don't want to feel like I'm denying the other two. I know they are past, I know they are not here, but I still had them. They're still my children. I still gave birth to two children. So especially when someone asks, is this your first? So when they see my son and they're like, is he your first? And you actually want to say, no, he's not my first. Oh, and they're like, oh, how many have you got? I'm like, okay, three. Sometimes it ends there, but sometimes it'll just progress because obviously he's not my first child. So saying yes to it to me feels like that's a lie, and it feels like I'm denying my other children because they are not here with me physically. So most of the time, I don't I don't actually want to be asked that question because I don't obviously want to talk about um my boys. So I don't even want to be asked that question. Obviously, I cannot avoid being asked the question, but I just wish that people wouldn't ask me that. And I also wish that I didn't have to always explain that he's not my first child and I've got children that passed, because people don't actually understand that they feel like, okay, then he's your first. Sometimes when you actually say, oh no, he's not my first, but my first is not here, they passed, what occurs to them is, then he's your first, but actually he's not my first. Because if you go through pregnancy and you actually give birth to a baby, and because that baby passed, doesn't mean that the next child is your first child. I don't know. I don't think like that. So it's a bit complicated just having to explain to people. So I just really wish that no one asked me, is he your first, or is he your only child, or have you got other children? You get asked that question every now and then, and it's just really annoying. I just don't want to answer it most of the time, but of course I don't want to come off as rude, so I say what I have to at that point in time. The other difficult thing I would say is losing your children makes you overprotective. I am so protective of my son, and people don't understand why. It's like we've all got kids, and or I mean, these are just random regular stuff, but it's not just that to me. Because I've lost two children, I'm always very careful and overprotective of my son. I wouldn't want him to do so many things. I wouldn't want him to get into so many things that every other parent would approve of. It's not just me. So it comes off like I'm doing too much, but you don't know my story, so you really can't judge my parenting. I think that's it for today. I'll see you next time.